And crossing our fingers for a heads, if we get a heads, we win here. Yeah! There's the Togekiss heads. Togekiss is busted, guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Voiddyn, and today I'm going to talk to you about a deck that's been all over the meta lately. And, you know, it's kind of showed up from here to there, been putting in results, but it has never really seen a top until this past weekend where it topped in Sacramento. Today I'm going to be talking about Gholdengo. Gholdengo EX is a really awesome Pokemon and kind of the go-to deck that I've been doing for a little while. It has the attack for 1 steel, make it rain, that deals 50 times the amount of energy you discard, right? So this is all about making sure you use stuff like superior energy retrieval, and things of the sort, kind of to just load up your hand. Now there's a bunch of different ways that Gholdengo's been played, but some people have been theorizing about playing it with the new Togekiss. Togekiss has the ability Wonder Kiss that says whenever your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out, flip a coin. If it's heads, you take 1 more prize card, and the effect of Wonder Kiss can't stack. So the reason why a lot of people try to pair Gholdengo with Togekiss is because Gholdengo is a really solid deck where its attacker is its own draw engine. So there's this slot here on what you want to pair it with that's a little bit up in the air because you're not really sure what you exactly want to play with it. So that's why a lot of people have chosen that, or have thought it's safe to play with Togekiss. Overall, I think Togekiss is an awesome option. The ace spec that you play in this list is Energy Search Pro. Energy Search Pro says search your deck for any number of basic energy cards of different types, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Note this is really only played in the Togekiss list version because the other version plays Palkia V and Palkia V-Star instead, which allows you to get an alternative attacker besides Gholdengo and allows you to really use that Radiant Greninja to pick stuff off your opponent's bench. How would you want to play this list? How do you want to play Gholdengo? Well, you have those 2 versions, right? You have the classic Palkia V-Star list, which is all about taking advantage of all those energies that you discarded, having a backup attacker in Palkia, and also being able to use Radiant Greninja. Or you have this bursty list with Energy Search Pro. The lists are kind of the same overall, right? You do play a lot of item search cards, which is awesome, right? So you get to play stuff like Irida, you get to play stuff like Arven, and just in general, you also want to lean heavily into Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking. Ciphermaniac is very strong in this list because of the fact that you're going to be drawing a bunch of cards with cards like Bibarel, as well as your Gholdengo's ability. Keep an eye out, because as I get a new list, I will throw the Limitless link in the description that shows what the winning list will be. So for Gholdengo, I'm not really quite sure if you really want to go first or second. In this format where there's a ton of item searching and things of the sort, you kind of want to go second, but going first isn't really the worst as long as you're able to set up stuff. Note, you want to try to set up your Togepis and Togekisses only to have 1 on the bench, and even if it gets knocked out, it's not that bad. While Togekiss does give you this general big advantage, it's not really a core part of the deck. Unfortunately, we did not draw anything on the first turn, but let's hope on the second turn we can get something that's a little bit better. Okay, looks like my opponent is playing something with Dusknoir and Dark Patch and Rare Candies. I think they're playing Hydreigon. We'll see how it works. Our hand here is pretty bad. I'm going to attempt to, on second turn, we're probably going to Ultra Ball, discarding Gholdengo and the superior energy retrieval, grabbing ourselves. Oh man, we really need to like set up as much as we can here. Because, so they hit 210 max and they mill. The mill, while you think the mill may not be that important with Hydreigon, it's pretty important here. We did get the Buddy-Buddy Poffin, which isn't that bad. So we could do, you know, like a Bidoof and a Togepi, but we're going to check our deck first to make sure we didn't prize a Togekiss. We did not. Okay. So before we do that, let's do Gimmighoul and Togepi onto the bench. Now, I can just wait a turn, but I kind of want to draw some cards, right? So, and we kind of want to like stay active, right? So we're going to discard this Superior Energy Retrieval and this Gholdengo. And I'm going to try to find myself, you know, this Radiant Greninja. Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to use this Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking to find 2 additional cards that we normally weren't going to find and, you know, put them together. Right? So we want to have a bunch of cards in our hand, but we're not looking to KO just yet. So we do need a bunch more energy in hand, but we do need to also support, like, bring out our other cards too. So let's do a... I would like to probably get an Iono for next turn. Or no. We want to be able to search for big stuff. Okay, we're gonna go Buddy-Buddy Poffin, and Buddy-Buddy Poffin, and a shoot. Yeah, we'll grab Togekiss. We'll do it like that. It's not the best draw, but you know, we kind of did it under pressure, and we're kind of figuring it out as we go. Draw some cards here, right? I'm going to use Buddy-Buddy Poffin to fill up my bench. We'll get a Bidoof, and we'll get another Gimmighoul just in case. Right? And then we just end our turn. We are completely filled up here. We're going to Rare Candy onto the Togepi ASR to get ourselves kind of all fixed up here. We don't have... Man, we are flying by the seat of our pants now. We are trying to make sure that we do not lose much else here. There's the Neo Upper. They are going to immediately get the knockout. Man, are they going to get the knockout on the... Oh, they're getting the knockout on the Bidoof. I'm actually kind of okay with that. So by knocking out the Bidoof, what that allows us to do next turn is draw with the Fezandipiti. Oh, man, we did lose some cool cards to milling, though. All right, well, we're okay. We're okay because we have this evolve into Togekiss, right? So we evolve into Togekiss right now. We Fezandipiti to draw a bunch of cards. We flip the script, hope we draw into something. Let's check Heavy Ball, see what we got. We don't need that Togepi. We are perfectly fine here. I would like to Earthen Vessel to try to find more cards. We will discard the switch. I will put a Steel and probably another Steel in the hand just so that we can kind of prep. One's going to get thrown away to the Fezandipiti, or I'm sorry, to the Radiant Greninja anyway, so we'll throw away a Steel. There's an Energy Search Pro. We could do that to try to thin out our hand, but we are unfortunately going to be calling for family this turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to avoid another attack, make my opponent have to do something else. And then we will call for family, getting ourselves another Gimmighoul. So there's this thought that you do Energy Search Pro so that your next draw is a little bit better. But the reason why I don't think you do that just yet is because of the fact that if my opponent Ionos, then I'm at this point where I just kind of wasted all of my... I wasted my Energy Search Pro. And we're just not at the point that we're going to be able to, you know, kind of recover. Because all that energy will be on the bottom. We do get another draw, right? It stinks that we've given up 2 prize cards already. But we're not in, like, the worst spot we've been. Now, before we do anything else, let's draw cards with Fezandipiti. Right? Hey, look at that. We have a Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher is going to get us back Gholdengo, right? We will go Gholdengo onto the active, right? How many energy do we have in discard? We only have 3. We can make this 4, but let's not do that just yet. Let's Energy Search Pro fill our hand, right? We got 4 right there. And then I would like to discard a card to draw. So let's discard an energy to draw some cards. Right? Because what I want to do is I want to be able to knock this guy out and not have to worry about doing it again next turn. So discard 2 cards there. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And now that we have this all filled up, we can just simply attach. Right? And then we make it rain. Now this is a lot, right? So we got to go 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. We need to get rid of our whole hand there just to knock it out. Now let's see if Wonder Kiss is going to flip us aheads. And it flipped us ahead, so we get 3 prize cards off that one knockout, which is huge for us. We have a Canceling Cologne and a Night Stretcher, which is going to be very good for us to get a steal back if we need to. We also have 8 energy in the discard, so like getting knockouts now is going to be a little bit harder to, you know, really make sure that we can get these KOs, right? Because we only run a certain number of energy. Okay. Putting Radiant Greninja in the active is not a big deal. Iono is pretty rough for us, though. Especially because we don't have a switch, because it's in the discard. We can do Codebreaker if we want to. But I don't think we need to right now. So Irida does get us a water Pokemon and an item. Our items, so we need to find 2 items, right? So we could just Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking for it. So we're going to Ciphermaniac's for an Energy Retrieval. And then probably like a Super Energy Retrieval would be pretty good here too. Right? And then we just simply draw off coin bonus. And then draw off a second coin bonus. Then what we'll do is we'll discard this Earthen Vessel and this Nest Ball, because we don't need those anymore. We'll get 4 energy back to hand. Yep, and my opponent conceded because we just had set up and we were just ready to go each time. Like, we were ready to get knockouts every single time. It was great on our end. And that's kind of the power of this deck, right? So, like, the fact that you could just have the opportunity to take extra prizes, we went from being 2 prizes behind to being 1 prize up. And then we were at the point where we could easily close out the game and then do something like a boss's orders to take out the last Pokemon. Okay, let's go first, just to show what it's like going first, right? So this hand's not that bad, right? So we'll go Gimmighoul in the active. We'll go Togepi on the bench. We have a single energy to work with, which can give us a minor errand running to get 2 energy out of the list. But that's not that bad. My opponent looks like they're playing Cerulean, which is kind of rough for us because we are we are a deck that happens to be weak to fire. We'll play the energy onto the Gimmighoul just in case and just end our turn. So we have to assume that any Gholdengo we have gets immediately knocked out. So they are playing Pikachu Lost Box, it looks like. Which is actually pretty good for us with Togekiss, right? So what Togekiss allows us to do in this matchup is instead of just simply, you know, losing to the fact that we have to discard a lot of cards and we have to, you know, hope that we catch up, it allows us to do a lot of these coin flips to, you know, put us ahead by having each one of our, you know, each one of our knockouts possibly worth double. Again, Togekiss is very good, especially if, you know, it just has to get you 1. Colress's Experiment, getting rid of the Switch and the Lost Vacuum. Okay. Looks like they don't really have anything else to throw down right now, which is fine. Oh, it's because they had another Switch just ready to go. How many are they sitting at right now? Looks like they're sitting at 3 cards in the Lost Zone, going up to 4 here. Getting rid of 2 Super Rods. That's pretty rough. Although I will say the Beach Court coming out as nice, it seems pretty nice for me. Okay. We don't really have much to do besides evolve the Togekiss. So what I want to do is I want to force something to be in the active, but, you know, it's kind of rough, right? So here's the problem, right? If I have minor errand running, I can't set up. So we need to evolve here, and then I need to Ciphermaniacs, even if I don't have anything to do next turn. So what gets us further? What gets us further is a Gholdengo, and then probably a, man, what's in our hand? Our hand's just a boss's orders. So we want Bibarel first into Gholdengo. But both work, right? So what's going to happen is that it's going to have us draw a lot of cards. The thing that we had to make sure, though, when using Ciphermaniacs is to not minor errand running, because then we'll search our deck and shuffle up our choices there. By doing that, we kind of put ourselves into like a really horrible position. Unfortunately, my opponent kind of gets to run away with the card advantage here because of the fact that they get to see so many cards and put so many cards in the lost zone. They are just setting up for a really, really good Sableye. But knowing how this deck runs right now, it doesn't really play as much of the Sableye, I'm pretty sure. It's been a little while since I've seen a look at the Lost Zone Pikachu list. But to be fair, though, for you to figure out what deck they're playing, which version of the deck, look at their energy that they show. But I think they're getting the... Oh, there's the Giratina. They're playing the Giratina version. Okay. Not terrible. We can work with the Giratina version, especially if we get, like... We might actually pull something off here. Because we have that boss's orders in hand, right? So we have boss's orders plus the Gimmighoul plus other stuff, right? They're not... I don't know if they're attacking this turn. They have 6 in the Lost Zone. So Gate requires... I believe Gate requires 8. Okay. We are kind of okay here. So Bibarel comes down, right? I'm going to immediately boss's orders this up just in case. Now that is probably a bad play because we do not know if we're going to be able to attack this turn. And it looks like we're probably not going to be able to attack this turn. Which means that I put myself into a little bit of a rough spot. Iridia's coming down. Okay, we got to flood out a little bit more. So we're going to go Gimmighoul, pass. I don't, like, it's not worth trying to set up anything else. So we're just sitting back and hoping that we don't get KO'd. Now, don't get me wrong, right? So there is an option here where we go, if they don't have anything else here, we just simply go Iridia, fine. Well, actually, we might get the knockout anyway next turn. Them knocking out our Gimmighoul's not that big of a deal, because if they knock out our Gimmighoul, we still get to go Iridia, search for Radiant Greninja if we really want it. We don't need Radiant Greninja at this point. But we're going to go Energy Search Pro, fill up our hand, and then proceed to Night Stretcher back up the Gholdengo, which we could play and attack with. And I believe that will get us a knockout. But it looks like they do not have a Mirage Gate just yet to do the KO here. Which is pretty good for us. Unless they're doing this... Oh, nope, they do have the Mirage Gate. And it looks like Mirage Gate is 7, not 8. So 280 coming down, knocking out our Gholdengo, which is, again, is not a huge deal. Right? We can probably come back for this pretty easily. Especially because, oh, they have Sableye coming down too. Okay. How many cards are in the Lost Zone right now? 7? This puts them up to 9, right? So they have to put 3 in the Lost Zone next turn, which isn't impossible. But it's not, you know... It's not a given just yet. So we'll bring up the Gimmighoul. Right? This is actually pretty easy. We just stretcher this Gholdengo back. We play the Gholdengo. Now we're going to Iridia now. because Irida is going to get us the Radiant Greninja, as well as... Oh, we don't have the Energy Search Pro. Okay. So let's go Radiant Greninja, and the tool is going to be an Earthen Vessel. So we have to do this as people would say the old-fashioned way. So we're going to play this. We're going to play the Earthen Vessel, getting rid of the Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Right? We'll start by finding 2. So we'll find... we need the energy to attack, so the Steel and a Psychic, right? We're going to discard the Psychic energy. Draw some cards. Right, there's the Superior Energy Retrieval. We'll draw 2 cards out of the coin bonus, which gets us another Gholdengo, which covers another part there, right? We'll go Gholdengo there. We'll draw off the Gholdengo. Right, and now we're kind of... We're only attacking with 4, which is pretty rough, right? But we could also try to find a Fezandipiti. I probably don't need to use the Ultra Ball here, but let's do it anyway. I could have used the Nest Ball. Hopefully the Fezandipiti's here. It is not. Okay. That's all right. So we'll put a Steel on the active. We're going to make it rain. And we'll discard 3. Now, this is the rough part, right? The misplay should have been that at a certain point, I should have checked to see if we had the Energy Search Pro in the list at all, right? Because sometimes it may just not be there due to certain circumstances. But, like, again, we're not completely out of the game just yet, right? We still have some other things that we could do. So, like, one of the things that we have is that, you know, Giratina does have 150 on it, which is, like, you know, not the worst here. They will hit and knock out my Gholdengo, right? If we're not careful. Oh, both? Okay, all... That's 2 and 1 here. They may not be able to use the Sableye if I get the knockout on the Giratina. Okay, that's a thought there. Good news is though, is that Iono probably helps us more than it hurts us. Yeah, putting 3 energy into my hand, perfect. That does get a Steel. We are a little bit in trouble, right? Because we need 3 more energy to discard. But I don't think we're exactly out of the game just yet. Now they only need 1 more Psychic to really get the knockout here. Because they can just use the Star Requiem ability. So let's put this here, right? Before anything else, we're going to draw a bunch of cards. Another Gholdengo, another Ultra Ball. That does not really help us. So we need to find an energy. So one of the best ways that we could do this is we can actually start paring our hand down because we only have 2 prizes left. So a lot of our cards are really, really not needed. So we're not going to put anything out. Right, we're going to play Buddy-Buddy Poffin. We're not going to find anything. We're going to Nest Ball. Not find anything. Now there's an argument that we could boss his orders here, but we actually need to try to not die. So instead, we're going to Bibarel. Hey, there's an Energy Retrieval. That gets us a little bit further, right? So let's get ourselves... It doesn't matter what type of energy we get here, because now we're able to take the knockout. So now we make it rain. And I need to discard 3. So that'll get us 3 prizes, or hopefully 3 prizes, crossing my fingers. Do we win the flip? We win the flip. 3 prizes right here. See how huge this is? And with that, we got 2 energy plus a Fezandipiti. So as long as they don't have a boss's orders in hand plus another thing to knock out, we could be okay here. Things that we have to try to knock out, right? We have to try to knock out the Sableye. We could try to knock out the Radiant Greninja. They probably play Blood Moon Ursaluna. So that's pretty rough as well. Colress is coming down from my opponent as well, too. Okay, they got rid of their second Sableye, which means that if we knock out this first Sableye, we are, like, good to go. So that's what we'll use our boss's orders for, unless my opponent benches something, right? If my opponent benches something that's worth 2 prizes, we're going to take it. So that Giratina, we're going to boss's orders that up right away, and we're going to attempt to knock it out. I wonder if they're just going to throw it into the active. Crossing my fingers, hoping that they don't... Okay, there's the Mirage Gate. No energy left in deck. Let's go. Okay. Okay. We could still get there. It's 5 energy. We have 3 energy here. That's 150. I need to find anything that gets me something here. Okay. I think my opponent realizes that something's up too. So we don't use the boss's orders until we absolutely have to. How many superior energy retrievals do we have in discard? We have 2 energy retrievals, which means we just need a superior energy retrieval. So PokéStop will help here. Before we PokéStop, we're going to draw some cards. There's the superior energy retrieval. So we just simply boss's orders up this. Right? And then we'll superior energy retrieval, discarding the Fezandipiti and the Togekiss. Right? Get ourselves 4 energy. Just because even if this gets shuffled back in, right, we still want to be able to, you know, attack and do whatnot. See, unfortunately, there's our Energy Search Pro that we needed earlier. So we won't even spin this. We'll just go make it rain, right? And we need to discard 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And crossing our fingers for a heads. If we get a heads, we win here. Yeah! There's the Togekiss heads. Togekiss is busted, guys. And just like that, we took a game where we probably shouldn't have won, and we're able to turn around because of the Togekiss. Oh gosh, starting Fezandipiti is so rough for us. But drawing extra cards is pretty good for us too. Looks like my opponent might be playing Chien-Pao, or... I mean, Chien-Pao... So Chien-Pao is interesting because it got pretty far last at Sacramento yesterday. Got like 14th. I actually unironically wanted to get together a Chien-Pao list to play. But it looks like they're playing... I don't know what they're playing. Oh, are they playing Greninja? They're probably playing Greninja. So Greninja is a little rough for us too. Oh no, it is just Chien-Pao. It's Chien-Pao with Pidgey. It's a little bit strange, but okay. So let's do Buddy-Buddy Poffin. I'd like to get myself a Togepi and a Gimmighoul. I don't really have much else to do with this hand. There's no reason to keep it around, and I want to do more setup. So I'm going to Iono my opponent. But Barrel into hand is pretty okay, but the problem is that we did not get anything else to do. So I'm going to attach here and then end my turn. That's the problem with Ionoing into this list. I feel like once we get the new list off Limitless, we're going to get something that looks a little bit better, at least for setup. I know Azul has a list that's going around too that's probably better for setup than my list. But, you know, my list was kind of thrown together as people were throwing the idea to me. So I kind of like threw stuff in and out. So this is obviously not optimal. So play whatever is optimal, guys. Iridia's going to get them backs. Oh, Chien-Pao Rare Candy. Okay. Probably going to retreat off this into the Chien-Pao, right? Finding some extra water. So it's real rough. I'm not quite... So, like, if they knock out our Fezandipiti, which, wow, apparently they did not. So, that's interesting. Heavy Ball? Wow, look at those prizes. Those prizes are real rough. I don't have much else here, so we're going to retreat the Fezandipiti. I will Gimmighoul, getting me a second... getting myself a second Gimmighoul. Now, there's an option, like, we know that our Gimmighoul's getting knocked out, right? Like, that's not negotiable, right? Because of that, I don't think it's worth getting the Bidoof to evolve into Bibarel. I'd rather just, you know, deal with the fact that I'm going to have to draw off Fezandipiti and hope I get a good draw. Okay. Yep, there's the backs of all rare candy up into the backs. Now, the way that you win in this matchup... Wait a second. Okay, so we might actually be in trouble if my opponent sees it. My opponent can go attach one to the Chien-Pao, and then if they have enough energy, they just load up the Radiant Greninja and knock out my bench. Let's see if they see it. Okay, they have one here, which is not a big deal. All right, cool. Cool, 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 cool. They did not see it. We'll bring up the Gimmighoul. Buddy-Buddy Poffin coming out. I want to thin my deck, so it's going to go Bidoof and another Gimmighoul. Then I would like to draw some cards off the Fezandipiti. Man, none of this actually got us anywhere, did it? Let's Turos the Fezandipiti. Yeah, that doesn't work the way we want it to. That stinks really hard. Let's see if we could draw something with Radiant Greninja, or if we are just stuck. We will Energy Retrieval to get 2 to hand, 1 to attach, 1 to discard. Okay. I mean, it's okay. Maybe we'll get something lucky off PokéStop. Guys, I don't think this game's our game. I don't think this game's our game at all. So, we'll attach another to the active. We don't have anything right now. We don't have another way to get stuff back. So let's minor errand running, getting ourselves more steel and passing our turn. We will have Bibarel next turn. We will have Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking 2. So we'll have a bunch of stuff to work with. My opponent has so many cards in their hand, it's crazy. Yep, superior energy retrieval, getting back their 6 energy. Like I said, I don't know if they see it yet, where they just attach their Chien-Pao, you know, get onto their Radiant Greninja, knock out my bench. But, like, that's, like, probably what they do. There's another world where they just go, okay, they're bringing up my Fezandipiti because they want to knock out my Fezandipiti. I know this sounds really weird, but I'm kind of okay with that. Now, what gets us better back into this game, right? We need to knock out the backs. Caliber. How do we do that? We evolve here. Let's spin. Okay. We can't discard, so we can't just knock out the backs Caliber. We have to go, like, Gholdengo. Man, I think we have to go Gholdengo. And that feels really, really bad. Yeah, we'll go Gholdengo. Attach here. Discard here to draw some cards. Right? Get our Gholdengo. Then we will coin bonus to draw cards from here. We'll draw our 1 first, then draw our 2. There's the boss's orders that we needed like last turn. Alright, well, Earthen Vessel. Discarding a Ciphermaniacs. 1, 2. How many cards do I have in energy do I have in discard? 5? Okay. So let's use this again. Let's discard the canceling Cologne is probably fine here. Getting 2 more. And then we'll Night Stretcher, getting back an energy, because I don't want to, as much as getting back the Fezandipiti to draw is very good here, not everything needs to be out to draw. He is weak to steal too. I probably didn't need to go too hard on grabbing all this energy, but so be it. Let's discard, so we do 100 per, so we need to discard 3. The problem is that I believe that I just get counter knocked out every step of the way. We really need to knock out the Baxcalibur. Although it depends on how many energy my opponent has in hand. We really don't know how much. There's 6 energy in discard. Usually they run about 8 energy. Right? Anything that stops the Baxcalibur stuff is realistically what we need to do here. They obviously either have way more than enough or just enough anyway, but there's the Pidgeot allowing them to search whatever they need, which is that energy retrieval. So that's 60 times 4 is 240. They need 1 more. So our only way to come back from this is the boss's orders. So we need 2 things, right? We need to get ourselves the Togekiss, right? They're attaching everything to... So they're not attaching anything else, which is weird. Well, maybe it's not that weird. Alright, we really need to search for our rare candy. And we can't do it through Irida. Because we need to boss's orders this turn. Well, there's the Togekiss. Okay. Let's do this. Let's coin bonus right now. There's another boss's orders. Not needed, but appreciative. We'll discard a Dark Energy to try to draw some cards. Okay, let's see if there's a rare candy left in the list or if I'm digging for nothing. Both are in the list. Okay. Let's spin. Hey, we got the rare candy. Okay. Okay. This is definitely going somewhere. Let's boss's orders up this guy. Is he weak to steal? He is. So I need 3. Still technically just 2. Just 2. So let's Superior Energy Retrieval. We'll discard Irida. Because that's not needed as much anymore. We'll still get 4 back. And we have to hope that we hit heads. I mean, not like it matters, right? But like we really do hope we hit heads here. Discard 2. Okay, we hit tails. Not a big deal. Trying to think of what my opponent could hit that KOs me here. They don't really have a way, because they didn't have like a second back setup. And because they didn't have a second back setup, they don't really get the knockout here. They could just kind of attach and hope for the best. The only thing, actually, you know what? They did have an option. The option is Palkia V-Star. So whatever energy, wherever they attach energy to, I have to boss his orders up and KO. Super Odd shuffling back in, probably the backs and the... Man, we were so close to just utterly losing this game. I mean, we still technically are, but they need to have an attacker, right? But they discarded their back stuff. Right, so, like, again, using that Radiant Greninja would have been the way to get stuff in. We do have the boss's orders in hand, so we're just going to boss's orders the Frigibacks. They need to put out 2 Frigibacks. So let's see if they actually get a second Frigibacks. Okay. They're trying to just search for it. I don't know if they put a second Frigibacks in. They did not put a second Frigibacks in. Do they have a second Frigibacks in there, or is it in the discard? It's in the discard. So they had a problem because they weren't able to get both Frigibaxes on the bench. That's how they win here. So that's kind of like where we really just be ready, right? So like now we just go, now we boss his orders, the Frigibacks, right? And then we just simply, we're not going to draw any more cards because we don't have enough cards left in deck. So we want to discard 1 because 1 will do 200 or 100. If I flip heads here, that's awesome. I do not flip heads here. So we haven't gotten any Wonder Kisses yet. But understand that if we got a Wonder Kiss beforehand, that would make this that would have made this turn a lot easier because we just knock out the Chien-Pao. So my opponent doesn't have a way to just simply knock us out just yet that we know of. They could be using Blood Moon Ursaluna. That might get them there, but I'm not quite sure. They also might just be hoping that I don't have it. That's like a genuine, you know, like a genuine option. Just being like, hey, look, do you have it? Just waiting for my opponent to find their out. Again, I think that the biggest thing that my opponent could have done earlier was that my opponent could have set up Radiant Greninja, put 3 energy on the Radiant Greninja, knocked out my bench, stopped me from playing the game. Especially because, like, even if their Radiant Greninja got knocked out, it didn't really matter. I was kind of interested why they, you know, why we were able to get as far as we did in this game. Especially because, like, we were getting crushed overall. Let's see how it goes. Turo's probably picking up their, probably going to put up the Pidgeot. No? Okay. Lost vacuuming my PokéStop, probably? I don't think we have a boss's orders left in the deck. We do not. So we either try to flip heads here and, you know, get like a good KO here. I'm not quite sure what else we have. Real quick though, I'm going to search my deck to make sure that I don't have a third boss's orders in the list. I do not. Okay. I can't Iono us down, right? Because if I Iono us down, we just simply lose. So what we're going to do here is we're going to discard the Ciphermaniac's code ciphering, and we're going to get ourselves 4 energy back to hand. And I guess what we're going to do is we're just going to try to get the knockout. So let's make it rain. Hope my opponent doesn't have a bosses. Let's just hope we vote or flip heads on the Wonder Kiss. Yeah! And that just gets us the win. That's why Wonder Kiss is so good. We are robbing victory from the jaws of defeat. Just like that. Wonder Kiss is... We only need to flip one. If you flip one, it makes your game so much different. And just like that, we were going to lose if it wasn't for Wonder Kiss. Maybe that's infuriating for some folks. I'm not quite sure. But it's kind of a blast too. Because you're just like, all right, maybe I get there, maybe I don't. So overall, Gholdengo EX has been like my favorite deck in the format for probably since the last set was out. You know, just like it was like a hidden gem. It plays a bunch of really good cards. It's consistent in the aspect of your draw is on your attacker. You can you draw double if it's in the active spot. You can play weird stuff like the Togekiss as well. Or Energy Search Pro can still stay in there, but then there's, you know, there's also an argument that instead of playing Energy Search Pro, you could play like Prime Catcher, and then on top of playing Prime Catcher, you could cut the Togekiss if you don't want to play as random and play the Palkia V, or the Origin form Palkia V-Star. That way you could set up Radiant Greninjas and have a secondary attacker. That deck seems a little bit more consistent than this one, but at the end of the day, this combo is sick, and just taking one prize card can make all the difference. Guys, I think that's it for me today. This has been Gholdengo EX. I will see you guys next time. If you guys enjoyed this content, feel free to drop a like, a follow, a subscribe, whatever you want, and give me a comment on what deck you want to see next. Alrighty guys, have a great day, and bye-bye.